What's good, everyone? It's episode number 4 of your favorite podcast, The Fourcast. A podcast of four fans. But as usual, it's just the three of us. The reluctant pogi, Mark. The millennial manong, Robbin.
Magandang gabi, bayan.
The real deal of Merville, JV.
Taho!
Akin yun, na.
Shout out!
Yes.
Throwback
and
tayo.
Shout out to Manzano, who still isn't here.
Uy, pero nagtitest siya ata ngayon.
Oh, good luck, Manzano.
Good luck. Hope you do well.
If all else fails, you have the forecast
Yes.
as your fallback. Kung hindi ka mag-succeed sa iyong dreams, we are here.
So if you're new to the podcast, what we discuss is sports, pop culture, politics, and this might just be the most value-adding and insightful podcast, hopefully, that will bring to you. And
It took us 4 episodes.
it took us 4 episodes to actually be relevant.
To actually make an outline for this episode.
Yes.
You've noticed naman, kaya kami umabot ng 50 minutes kasi
Walang outline.
walang outline.
Walang cut-cut. It's
Oo.
raw. Unadulterated.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So, before anything else, if you like what you listen to later on, you could subscribe to us on YouTube, The Fourcast, or like us on Facebook. That's The Fourcast PH at Facebook.com/The Fourcast PH. Thank you to everyone who's liked us so far and who's listened. We're only going to continue to get better, and we're going to try to be less sucky and be better.
Because we love you.
Yep. All right. So I'm gonna turn it over to Robbin for this special topic. He's more like he's the most qualified, I guess, to talk about it. All right, Robbin, take it away.
Alright, I'm taking it with me. So, alright, this year, 2016, has been one quite hell of a year, as I said.
True.
Ang dami nangyari this year. And, well, we're a sports podcast, but at the same time, we also talk about other stuff such as sports. And at this junction, we'd like to talk about something that just couldn't escape us. Now, everywhere we look, everywhere we go, lagi nating na-encounter, especially nga this year, and that's politics. Don't tune out yet. This would be an interesting episode.
Yep.
I know it's been political all year long, but I do hope you stay with us because it's gonna be, as what Mark said kanina, pretty insightful episode, and I hope it could add some insight or value to you. So yun, for this episode of the Forecast, we're gonna talk about sports and politics. So ano ba yung nag-drive sa atin to talk about this? JB.
Ano?
Ano ba yung nag-drive sa atin kung bakit pag-uusapan natin to?
Ano ba? What has happened
what has
recently
happened?
that has triggered the debate or the discussion? Do sports and politics mix?
Yeah.
We're gonna try to answer that. Of course, we have our own opinions, which we'll give out later.
in our own little way.
Okay.
So, yeah.
The Ateneo Lasal.
The Ateneo Lasal game. The first game of season 79 was a pretty controversial one.
Yep.
Kasi the university presidents of both Ateneo and Lasal issued a memo to their to the community, to their respective communities, to wear black in solidarity for those that were for the victims of the mounting extrajudicial killings in our country, and to seek justice for them. So, syempre, alam naman natin kung ano yung nangyayari sa political
Sa
sphere
background
natin ngayon.
I'm pretty sure our listeners, the fact that they're listening to us on the internet, they're not living under a rock.
Oh, definitely.
So they know the extent of social media, the noise on social media. And we know the noise on social media. And we're going to try to answer the question that has been raised.
Which is?
Do sports and politics mix? Should we separate, or should they be separated?
Yeah.
Are they even separable?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So now we dive into it.
Let's now dive into it. So yun nga, as you mentioned, nagkaroon ng letter of itong president sa Ateneo and Lasal. Pero is it the first time this has happened? Kasi medyo na-shock ang mga tao na, wow, bakit biglang magkakaroon ng political statement ng ganitong demonstration during a game, a UAAP game. So, nagkaroon na ba ng space ang politika sa sports noon?
If you look at the NBA, recent years, you don't have to look too far. Recent years with the, I guess the equivalent of these kinds of issues that they face are the rising number of very publicized unjust killings of black people,
African Americans.
yes, of African Americans by
The police.
law enforcement.
Oo.
Yeah. So you've seen the NBA take a stand, or NBA players take
Players,
a
at least
stand
individual
with the
players.
with the I Can't Breathe T-shirts by
Oo.
I forgot what's the name of the sorry I forgot the name of the guy who
Si
Eric.
Trayvon,
no Eric, is it Eric?
Eric Garner
I think.
or Trayvon Martin,
Yes,
yung mga shootings last
Please
year.
correct us if we're wrong. But we've seen the I Can't Breathe shirts worn by Kobe, by LeBron, and all the other stars. They making a statement because
Yeah.
they're also concerned, although they are influential, famous, and powerful African American athletes. They realized that they have to make a stand, and they did. And a lot of people admired them for that, and a lot of people also criticized them, maybe.
Yeah.
In this case naman, we have the two universities, Ateneo and LaSalle, supposedly uniting.
Yeah.
So, for the taking a stand against extrajudicial killings.
Uh-huh.
So, as you can see, it's not something new to sports naman.
Oo.
Yep.
You have also, last year I think,
Yeah.
the UP Fighting Maroons, I'm not sure if they took to social media also, but I think they did something in the game.
Yeah,
where-
kasi last year nagkaroon ng tinatawag na lakbayan. Yung mga lumad or the indigenous peoples, yun po yung mga indigenous peoples natin dito sa Pilipinas. They had this demonstration sa UP. So, lumad people from all over, from Mindanao, and indigenous peoples from all over the country. Lumad pala are the collective name of the indigenous peoples in Mindanao. Yun ang tawag sa kanila. Mga different tribes, lumad ang tawag sa kanila. So they had this demonstration sa UP Diliman. They went there and to raise awareness sa kung anong nangyayari sa communities nila. And what the UP Fighting Maroons did last year was that nung nandoon na yung mga lumad protesters sa UP kasi nagkampo sila doon, they held basketball clinics for them. Tapos, last year, di ba nagkaroon silang winning streak?
Mini winning streak.
Mini winning streak, no?
Super mini is dalawa lang.
Pero, they use it in a good way, Kasi they
Yeah.
were able to use it sa social media to
Yeah.
to raise awareness tungkol dito nga sa mga lumad. So, medyo hindi naman siya ganung kabago sa Philippines.
Oo.
Pero ito yung first time na medyo divisive yung issue. Diba?
Because of our president.
Because of our
The very
president din. Medyo
divisive president.
polarizing talaga yung talk about this. So, nagkaroon ng stand, kumbaga, yung UP fighting, yung Ateneo and LaSalle by doing this.
But the one who initiated was Ateneo, if I'm not mistaken. Di ba? Sila na unang naglabas ng letter.
Yeah, pero it's cited already na
Yes.
Nag-agree na
yeah,
yung dalawang community.
Yeah.
Ay, dalawang presidents. at
Nauna
least.
lang.
nauna lang Ateneo maglabas. Pero it was, I think, a mutual decision by both communities, by both presidents. So, yun nga. We already mentioned yung this wasn't new in the Philippines, and this isn't something new even in the United States. So, ngayon nga sa US, 'di ba? If you follow the NFL naman sa football, si Colin Kaepernick, yung quarterback ng San Francisco 49ers, dahil din doon sa shooting of racial discrimination ng mga African Americans sa Amerika, he refused to stand up sa national anthem ng Amerika. So, he just knelt down or sat down. So, some people thought it was disrespectful, but for him, sabi niya, I don't wanna stand up for for the flag of a country that discriminates its own people.
And several other NFL players have
Oo.
followed suit
Oo.
by also doing the same, either bowing or kneeling. Basta, even I think WNBA players, a whole team did it.
Yeah.
So sports has already been used as a vehicle to what do you call this, to you know
Further an agenda.
further an agenda
To
Or
be honest
advocacy.
naman, magandang platform ang sports
Yes.
Like, maraming tao na nanonood.
Yeah, exactly.
Maraming relatable sa kanila. So,
Oo.
yun.
It's a cultural phenomenon driven by passion
Yeah.
and strong emotions.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
So it's almost unavoidable to parang
Ex-
to not or for it not to be exclusively just sports.
for
and not-
escapism na
Yes.
tinatawag
Oo.
na you go to sports just because you want to run away from the troubles of the world. No, it's not that. I mean, when you sit at a basketball game or when you sit at a volleyball game, you're still very much part of this reality of this world.
Yeah.
Matatakasan yan.
Totoo. Oo.
Diba? So, yun eh. And we're talking about sports and politics na, sports and power. I mean, let's turn the tables naman. Sports has been used din naman by the so-called powers that be for their own
Definitely,
agenda.
sure. Yeah.
Diba? So, kung ginagamit ito as a means of protest, if you turn the tables, ginagamit din ito naman para to advance yung mga agenda ng mga nasa taas, kumbaga.
Totoo.
Totoo
Pero
naman.
before we go to that,
Mm.
I just want to get our personal reactions to
Okay.
the Ateneo and LaSalle wear black shirt against extrajudicial killings fiasco that happened a few weeks ago, which I think naman by the time we release this will still be a relevant topic
Yes.
to determine whether now, of course, in this very heated political climate we have right now, anything and everything the president does will be talked about, and the rabid fans especially will go to such lengths to really defend their president and attack those who criticize him fairly or unfairly. So ikaw, JV, what did you think of the game? Well, the game we lost, so that sucked.
Yeah.
That sucked.
For disclosure, we're all Ateneans.
We're all
right
Ateneans.
here.
Parang may expect kang ibang result naman.
It was a bad
We
bad
called
game.
this in the previous episode, LaSalle will win,
Yeah.
Obvious naman.
but they will face they'll face Ateneo in the finals. Book it. Okay, but anyway,
sige.
JV, what was your reaction to when you found out on social media and like in the game and the backlash or the support? What did you think?
I think nung initial reactions ko, nung nabasa ko yung letter ni Father Jet sa Facebook, was very, very harmless naman siya. It was a stand against EJK. Kind of like what yung mga NBA players did nung this preseason and last season. Now, when they wore black shirts with the I can't breathe caption on it. So parang sinasabi lang nila na we're against that. Sinasabi ng Ateneo and LaSalle community na we're against EJK and and nothing else naman. Wala namang sinasabi na we side on one, sabi natin, party or we're against another party. Sinasabi lang na we're pro-humans and we feel like we have to give more importance to human dignity na hindi napapakita ngayon. Gets mo ba yun?
Yeah, and it's not a direct
Hit.
protest
Yeah.
on the administration, but rather on the rising concern for the issue, for the alarming rate of killings. So, but of course, some people would take it as parang a pahapyaw na sa presidente.
Well, yun naman yung point ng protesta or ng mga ganong klaseng acts of mass actions, kumbaga. The very point of that is to attract attention to to show people na, whoa, there's something, parang siyang break sa status quo eh. Na parang, uh, may ibang nangyayari, 'di ba? I mean, sports. Yes, normally sports is for entertainment, pero kung pumasok na yung politika doon, kung pumasok na yung isang mass demonstration doon like Colin Kaepernick or itong EJK issue, parang it also symbolizes na parang may something na kailangan tingnan doon sa status quo. Na kailangan pansinin. Diba?
Yep.
So yun, I think ginawa yun ng both communities para makatawag pansin.
Oo, tama.
Sa mga ordinaryong nanonood, sa ordinaryong fan na, wow, parang meron ata tayong kailangan tingnan sa ating lipunan ngayon, sa ating status quo ngayon. And sports, I think, is a good platform to demonstrate that something needs to be rethink. We need to rethink some things. We need to take a second look. Diba?
Yeah.
So,
Ako kasi, I also agree that I think that sports is a good venue for these kinds of things. Of course, yung ginawa naman nilang protest na wearing black, I guess there was just much attributed, much noise and controversy attributed to it because it is an Ateneo LaSalle rivalry game. And of course, you have a lot of alumni who aren't willing to, whose school spirit is so deeply rooted and ingrained in their bodies, in their blood, that purist sila in the sense that I'm not going to mix my politics with my school spirit. I'm not going to wear black. I'm gonna wear green. I'm gonna wear blue because I want to support Ateneo. I want to support LaSalle. I can't. No, ayoko nga. Parang maybe it's also the rivalry that is preventing the solidarity in the. I'm pretty sure that has something to do with that. There's always whether we'd like to admit it or not. There's always that school pride that will especially now, like, it's not probably not as bad or as drastic as the people power revolution where really it was a lot of pent up. It was years. It was building up to that event. Eto, it's a few months. For some people, they still support the president. They like to think that he's making changes. For some people, they think that he's not doing the right, or he's not being the what do you call this, he's not being a what do you call this, he's not being the president that we want him to be. So ayun, I think that the rivalry had to do a lot with the backlash. Some people even thought that yung post-game, yung raising of the fist and singing the alma mater songs by both schools, which is done by all schools in the UAAP after the game. So if you're a UAP school member, you know that that happens. So parang people think that it's in support of Duterte. Doon pa lang, napaka-politicize.
Napaka-polarizing talaga ng mga politika natin ngayon. Even the symbols that that our schools use, ina-appropriate na sa politika, di ba?
Tsaka kung tutusin, it was a joint memo or a joint call by Ateneo and LaSalle. But they're saying, buti pa yung LaSalle. Kasi, well, we're just basing this on the comments, of course, and on the general observation that more people from the Ateneo side were black compared to those in LaSalle. We don't have the official count. Or like,
It's all based on observation.
Yeah.
Pero, may observation na ganun.
Based on island.
And also, it add to that we lost by like 20 or like we lost by like 15, I don't know. So napagtawa na pa tayo. There's always that. So ayun lang. I thought that I guess all of us here agree that there is room for sports in politics, diba?
Oo,
definitely.
You may not always agree what they're fighting for, what they stand for, but here kasi it's a very polarizing. It's the most polarizing thing in the Philippines today.
Yeah.
Is whether you support Duterte or not.
Pero yun, yung mga ganong simbolismo, yung mga ganong mass action protest, starting point lang yun eh. You must
Yeah.
always remember na starting point lang yun. It doesn't stop there. When you wear black, it doesn't mean that yun na yun. That you're not gonna do anything about it. You're not gonna discuss about this. Kaya nga yun ang point ng protest, yun ang point ng mass actions. It's for people to take notice of something and for discourse and discussion to flow from that thereafter. 'Di ba? So, sana kung nakakalungkot nga na very polarizing, pero hopefully sa ilang taong mga nakakita nung nangyari sa game na yun, sa kung anong stand ng Ateneo and Lasal, sana magkaroon ng discussion, na sana bakit dun pa lang sa tanong na bakit nagsuot ng black tong mga players, bakit nagsuot ng black tong ilang tao dito, sana mula doon magkaroon ng usapan na ano nga ba tong extrajudicial killings, ano ba tong nangyayari sa bansa natin, 'di ba?
And it's also become parang a class war na rin, parang kumbaga.
Hindi dapat.
Yun nga parang lumalabas rin
Oo.
na ay mga Atenista, mga Lasalista, which isn't the
Elitista.
case. It's always, actually, that's a very recurring
Theme.
theme in the discussion of the Duterte administration in terms of whether you're for what he's doing or if you're against it.
Oo. So sana wag lang tayong tumigil dun sa pagsusuot ng black o pagpo-post sa social media ng kung ano-ano, 'di ba? Sana mag-usap din tayo. Hindi lang sa mga tao na pareho ng isip natin o may parehong paninindigan, pero pati na rin doon sa mga taong may ibang paniniwala sa atin, 'di ba? Para rin malaman natin kung ano ba yung nasa isip nila, ano ba yung mga karanasan nila, 'di ba? So, 'yun.
Historically, there have been similar politicized sports moments, di ba?
Yeah, definitely. Ang dami niyan.
Just mention lang. Let's just mention.
Sige.
People can Google it.
Yeah,
diba?
people. There were, di ba? We were talking about how sports has been used as protest. There are also other times I mentioned kanina that governments, the powers that be, have used naman sports to push their own agendas. The agendum. Ano ba? Agenda. Basta.
Agenda says.
Agenda says.
Luro lang agenda.
Agenda. So,
Mga agenda.
So, balik tayo sa
Tama.
sa Olympics, 'di ba? Noong 1936 sa Germany. So, ginamit to ni Adolf Hitler para yung Olympics noong 1936 sa Germany, sa Berlin. Ginamit to ni Adolf Hitler para magpapogi sa kaniyang bagong Nazi regime. Para sabihin nila na, kami ang host ng Olympics. So, come to our country and see what has happened when 1980 naman, kalagitnaan to ng Cold War, kainitan ng Cold War when Moscow in the USSR noon, the Soviet Union hosted the Olympics. Binoycott to ng US at yung mga kaalyado niya, including the Philippines, I suppose, if I'm not mistaken. And the next Olympics, 4 years later, nasa Los Angeles naman, Soviet Union naman, at saka yung mga allied countries nga yung nag-boycott. So, ayun. Sa Pilipinas naman, sabi dito sa book ni Rafe Bartholomew, isa sa mga pinakamagagaling na chroniclers ng Philippine basketball. He wrote this awesome book called Pacific Rims about Philippine basketball. I hope may copies pa sa National Bookstore about it.
Or sa Fully Book.
Sa Fully Book.
Or sa Power Books.
Or sa Power Books.
Never know, we might get a sponsor.
Yes.
Alright.
And Rafe, if you're listening, I hope
Balimbing.
you give us a
Play safe.
shout out in your Twitter account. Pero yun, sabi ni Rafe, balik tayo sa panahon ni Marcos. So, PBA, very popular ang PBA sa Pilipinas. Sabi na dito sa kanyang book, the dictator's policies gave a huge boost to basketball's already powerful place in Philippine culture. Under martial law, Marcos exercised strict control over the nation's broadcast and print media. There were only a handful of television channels, and Marcos cronies controlled nearly all of them. Any channel that wasn't an outright propaganda mouthpiece for the regime was cowed into submission by the threat of government takeover. So the few local productions that weren't banned then tended to be corny variety shows, musicals filled with saccharine love songs, and the PBA. So many middle-aged Filipinos can remember walking down the street in the late 70s during PBA broadcasts and not missing a single moment of the games. So yun, basically, he's saying here na nevertheless, hoops penetrated ever more deeply into the fabric of Philippine society during the 1970s and 1980s because people had hardly any choice but to watch the PBA, which broadcast games 3 times a week. So basically what he's saying here is that wala kang mapapanood nung panahon ni Marcos kung hindi variety shows, Charlie's Angels, at PBA.
Yeah.
So kaya mahal na mga Pilipino ang PBA dahil yun ang pinapanood nila yun. And for some in a way ginamit to ng Marcos regime to withhold dissent. Kinontrol niya talaga yung media na okay magpapalabas ng mga critical news stories, ito lang yung ipalabas nyo. So nakikita natin dito na sports has been used nga to condition the minds of the people into fashioning an image to promote their agenda kung ano yung gusto nilang palabasin.
Speaking of conditioning the minds of the people nga, in general, I think nga, sports, especially sa Olympics, parang the Olympics is a political move ba? Paano ba sabihin yun? Political, sabi natin move na lang, or act.
Yeah.
So parang, kasi nung nag-aaral pa ako, fourth year economics, na may nabasa ako about signaling theory.
Okay.
Na a host country, when he bids to be a host of the Olympics, that hosting becomes a signal to other countries na sabi, akong country, kasi kaya kong i-host yung Olympics, I become a superpower, and siguro I can attract investors as well. So in a way, it conditions the minds of other stakeholders, investors, countries na ito dapat, ito gusto namin makita nyo na kami malakas. So yun nga. Kunyari, especially recently nung SEA Games mo, FIBA.
FIBA
Worlds.
Yeah,
bakit ba parang gustong-gusto natin na tayo mag-host, no? As in a way, political naman talaga ang sports.
Kasi
it may be, of course, it might be driven by we want to cheer on, have the home court advantage,
national pride.
We want to see the
Pinoy
best
pride.
in the world
come
together, congregate here in the country and play the best basketball. But of course, there's also a lot of politics in sports in general. There is a lot of politics in sports leagues, whether it's in the barangay,
Pala,
whether it's
mga
in
sponsor
the
na
in the office leagues.
Ano bang tawag sa
In the
mga
school leagues.
basketball court dito sa Paranaque, di ba?
Oy.
Search nyo na lang sa Google.
Sa buong Pilipinas,
sa ano rin. Buong
yung
Pilipinas.
Yung mga pangalan nasa backboard.
Lagi namang may pangalan, di ba? Titing kong talagang susuriin.
Yung arena pinangalan sa politician.
Basta mag-ikot-ikot kayo para makita nyo, di ba?
If you're Filipino, you know what we're talking about.
And for the foreigners, come over, visit the Philippines. Di ba, we're helping parts sa tourism, di ba?
Yes. Politics to sports.
Yes.
Diba? Manny Pacquiao
Yes. Definitely. Definitely. I think the best example of sports and politics.
You can mix, with 13 million, who voted him?
Tinan mo nakita ko lang sa Facebook yung picture niya na he was introducing this bill to restore the death penalty for drug offenders. Dun sa PowerPoint slide niya. So yun, dun yung title ng act. Tapos doon sa baba nun, yung logo niya, yung MP.
Yes, the one he used in his Nike days. The MP logo that used to see on the shirts and on the trunks. Now on a PowerPoint presentation for a bill that he's proposing.
Yeah, to restore death penalty for drug offenders.
Yun nga, It's a hosting events, the
Yeah.
Olympics, the FIBA World Cup,
Yes.
the FIBA Asia.
Oh.
I'm sure those who said I don't mix my politics
Nah.
with my sports, I'm pretty sure you wanted them to host it.
Especially if you voted for Manny
Yeah.
Pacquiao.
If you voted for Jaworski,
Oh, exactly.
Freddie Webb, who are the other Monsur Del Rosario, who's
Uh-huh.
now a congressman.
True.
A lot of
A lot.
a lot who are councilors, mayors.
So you really can't tell na
Really?
you can't mix politics and sports.
Dito pala sa Pilipinas, which is probably the most evident setting of politics and sports meshing together.
Ano pa sa ibang bansa, diba?
Hindi natin alam, hindi naman tayo nakatira doon.
Pero nakikita natin,
Dito
diba?
pa lang.
Dito pa lang. So, hindi mo talaga matatakasan ang politika. Sabi nga ni, may nagsabi, basta
Sino
sinabi
nagsabi?
niya,
Sino nagsabi?
that man is a political animal. Si Aristotle. Thank you very much sa aking audio na nasa left ko. Yun, man is a political
Ano last name niya,
animal.
Aristotle?
Ano?
Hindi, tinatanong kita.
Aristotle
Arist-
Hamilton. Aristotle Hamilton.
Ayan. Kasi masyado daw serious. It was too serious, so we had to
We had
break.
to break the ice.
Alright.
Anyway.
Kayo na pala break yung ice.
Oo nga eh.
Ayun. And let's not go too far. Ateneo Lasal. Who backs Ateneo Lasal?
Ah, yes.
Rhetorical.
We, disclaimer, we are Ateneans. We love our school.
I am a current Ateneo student,
Yes.
so
And
please don't.
again, these are just our views and not
Yeah.
of anyone else's.
Yes.
But who backs them? They're also, they are
O
related.
sa Lasal, sino ba?
Danding Kuwang ko.
Diba, Lasal professor here, so...
Danding Kuwang ko.
Danding Kawangko.
We're
Who is Danding Kawangko?
who's Danding Kuwang ko, Robin?
Ay, Danding Kawangko is
Businessman.
cousin ba? Businessman, yes, but he's related to the Kawangko Aquino clan.
Yes.
But he was a Marcos crony.
Yeah.
So, paikot-ikot lang yung
Also,
ano eh. Oo.
also with relatives in politics, cousin was the president.
Yeah, cousin mo sa president. Cousin ba? Or,
Yeah. MVP. I'm pretty sure in some way he is friends maybe or we're not gonna assume, but he might be in some ways also politicized. I don't know.
So yun eh, hindi mo talaga maiiwasan eh. You can't really separate it. It's either you're gonna use it for good or you're gonna use it for something nefarious. Diba? Dalawa lang yan eh.
Nefarious?
Nefarious.
The fast.
And nefarious. Yes, the magic is still there.
Yes, of course. We might be talking about something serious.
But yeah.
It's still there. So we'll watch out for the less serious ones.
Yes.
So you get more of this.
There's episode Fourcast episode 5
Yes.
after episode 4.
Yeah.
So yun.
Usually that's how it goes.
Yeah. Unless, 'di ba? So yun,
Just to wrap up, Robin, before we end.
yun, gaya ng nabanggit ko kanina, sports is really a celebration of the best of the human spirit, I think. It's a place where all of us gather to celebrate the best of us, diba? Some people use it to further their own advocacies, agenda. Pero it's up to us. The question naman is what do we think is the greater good and how do we think can we best advance this, diba?
Yeah.
So if it's sports, why not, diba? Kailangang pasukan ng politika ang sports para mapabuti ang buhay ng mga African Americans, mabawasan ang mga patayan sa ating paligid. Bakit hindi? Diba?
Raise awareness for something that
For
needs...
lumad
Yeah.
sa mga indigenous peoples natin, bakit hindi, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Yun. I think yun yung takeaway natin for this.
Ultimately, sports is something, both naman intrinsically, it's all for the good of people, for the
Yeah.
enjoyment,
It's-
for the growth for the furtherance of people. So, to answer the question, do sports and politics mix? Let's all answer in chorus. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
In harmony ba?
Hindi, just
Ah.
unison.
Y-
1, 2, 3.
Yes.
There we go.
Galing, galing.
All right,
galing,
if you
galing.
like that, thanks.
Nice one.
Nice
So that's
one.
gonna do it for episode
You're
number
the best.
4. Probably the most, serious and actually relevant episode of the Forecast.
And the shortest.
We'll
so
see.
Far, I hope.
Again, subscribe to us on YouTube. That's the Forecast, and on Facebook, the Forecast PH. Personal Twitters @Permanent Marcor.
At RC Dagle.
At JV, please don't go.
You wanna search our Instagram or our Facebook, bahala na kayo. But
May
that's gonna.
Snapchat rin kami.
Meron ba?
Stalk us.
Yeah,
please.
stalk us, please.
We need stalkers.
Yes, please.
To boost our ego.
Yes, please. This is why we do this podcast.
To boost our ego.
And to hopefully gain some stalkers in the process.
Yes.
That's gonna do it for episode number 4. Thanks for listening. On to the next Forecast. Forecast out.
Bye, guys.
Love you.